What if I told you that Mystic Falls' greatest predator never needed to show his fangs to instill fear? Dude, Damon Salvatore is more than just a sarcastic vampire with blue eyes and witty one-liners. She's a walking destruction machine disguised as a charming jerk. But what makes this badass so dangerous? Why can he resist pain, manipulate minds, and walk away after taking a stake to the chest? Before understanding his body, we need to go back to the beginning. Damon was a Civil War soldier, human, idealistic, until he met Catherine Pierce, the vampire who completely messed with the Salvatore brothers' heads. She's the one who turned Damon. But unlike Stefan, who tried to resist, Damon embraced the darkness from the start. He chose to be the predator, chose to be feared. The transformation ignited something already inside him, a killer instinct mixed with charm and cruelty. And that's where the construction of the monster we're dissecting today begins. Go ahead and hit like, subscribe to the channel, and comment. In your opinion, is Damon the most lethal vampire in the series? Or do you think there's someone even more sinister? Let's go, because now we're going to dive into the body of an immortal predator. Damon Salvatore's body isn't human anymore. After transformation, every cell became part of a structure designed for a single purpose: to hunt, survive, and dominate. Seriously, if we analyzed this like nature's secret laboratory, Damon would be the most sinister experiment ever created. A cold-blooded predator with a heartthrob's face who can smile while destroying you inside and out. Starting with the basics, his heart beats, but at a different rhythm. It pulses vital energy in economy mode, as if his body were on standby waiting for the time to kill alert. When this mode activates, Damon's metabolism goes into overdrive. His muscles, senses, regeneration, everything accelerates to superhuman levels. The weirdest part is how his metabolism is intelligent. He doesn't need constant oxygen, food, or sleep. If blood is in his system, he functions. Without blood, he slows everything down, enters an almost hibernation state, but remains alive and conscious. Ever seen someone wake up after decades of imprisonment without feeding and start killing like it was yesterday? That's Damon Salvatore. The guy's musculature is next level too. Even with a lean appearance, he has insane muscle density. The fibers are like steel cables soaked in blood designed to shatter human bones with a slap. His skeletal system? Much more resistant than any humans. Perhaps with a level of compaction resembling reinforced carbon. He can fall from crazy heights, take shotgun blasts, get beaten by werewolves, and stay intact. There's more. His nervous system is like it's overclocked. His brain processes everything in real time, like an instinctive artificial intelligence. This explains why he dodges bullets, senses traps before they happen, and reacts before the enemy blinks. It's as if the world moves in slow motion when he enters hunting mode. Now combine this with his senses. The guy hears whispers from across town, smells your blood even when you're hidden, and sees in the dark as if it were day. But the craziest thing? He might have a type of vampiric pheromone. This would explain his supernatural charm. It's not just talk or seductive looks. His body might be exhaling real chemistry that manipulates human senses, making people more vulnerable to compulsion. Finally, his immune system is invincible. No virus, bacteria, or disease affects him. Any foreign cells trying to invade are destroyed in seconds. Damon's body is like a biological minefield, perfect for lasting centuries without weakening. For real? If there were a manual on how to create the perfect killer, Damon's body would be the reference. Biologically, he's immortal. Chemically, he's dangerous. And emotionally, well, that's what makes him even more lethal. Damon isn't just a vampire with an arrogant face and sarcastic phrases. He's a physical and supernatural force disguised as a playboy. When things get tough, this guy becomes a fast, strong, and cruel monster. But what makes these powers so intense? Let's break it down, because the list is long. Damon has broken ancient vampire spines with a push. He throws bodies around, rips off heads with his hands, and punctures human chests like they're paper. On average, a vampire like him has strength levels between 3 to 5 tons per arm, equivalent to lifting a car with one hand while holding a sarcastic joke in the other. This is due to dense musculature, reinforced joints, and the ability to apply force without mental barriers. While a human hesitates, Damon has already put you through a wall. It's not just brute force, it's killer efficiency. This guy is fast as hell. Seriously, he can cross an entire room, kill 2 people, hide the body, and sit back on the couch before anyone notices he moved. His estimated combat speed reaches 300 or 400 kilometers per hour in short bursts. But it's not just running, it's reacting, attacking, adjusting strikes, all at the right time. His brain processes everything with minimal delay. It's as if Damon sees in slow motion. The victim sees a blur. He sees weak points, movements, solutions. He's a master of efficiency at high speed. You can shoot him, cut him, break him. Damon's body rebuilds itself in seconds. Vampire blood activates regenerative cells that not only heal but restore organs, tissues, and even tendons. We've seen him impaled and getting up seconds later, as if it were just a tickle. But there's a catch. This regeneration needs energy, meaning blood. The more he drinks, the faster he heals. If he's weak, the process slows down, but never completely stops. This is the most impressive point. Damon stopped aging at 24. His cells are frozen in time. No degradation, no wear and tear. His DNA doesn't suffer natural mutations from time, doesn't lose quality. This means he can live for centuries with the same body, same mind, and same strength. Theoretically, he only dies if someone knows how and has enough courage. Hearing, smell, sight. Damon smells blood from a distance, hears footsteps before they happen, and sees in the dark as if he had thermal vision. He can be in a corner, chilling, listening to a conversation blocks away. And this isn't an exaggeration, it's part of his vampiric engineering. The world is brighter to his senses, and he uses this to manipulate, hunt, and kill with surgical precision. This is one of the creepiest things. Damon can look deep into your eyes and rewrite your memory, change your feelings, or force you to do anything. It's like a brain hack, activated by eye contact, voice, and presence. And what few people consider, this works because his body emits altered frequencies, almost hypnotic, that mess with your brain. It's his most invisible and dangerous weapon. If Damon's body is a killing machine, his mind is the cold, calculating, and manipulative command center of that machine. What makes Damon so dangerous isn't just what he can do with his fists, it's how he thinks, how he reads the environment, how he plays with people's minds as if on a chessboard. Let's be real. This guy didn't survive over 150 years just on brute force. He survived because he's smart as hell. In every risky situation, whether with hunters, witches, hybrids, or even stronger vampires, Damon always finds a way out. Sometimes violent, sometimes strategic. And most times, he had already predicted everything. His emotional intelligence is also something else. Even while broken inside, Damon knows exactly what to say, to manipulate, seduce, dominate. He reads people's emotions with ridiculous ease. He knows how to use guilt, affection, anger, and even love as weapons. He doesn't just fight with teeth and stakes, he fights with words and decisions. And almost always, he wins. Additionally, he has an absurd coldness in execution. While other characters hesitate, cry, or back down, Damon goes and does what needs to be done. It might be killing someone he loves, sacrificing himself, lying, or betraying. He plays in real survival mode and often carries that weight without complaining. This, honestly, is what separates him from others. And if we look from a more technical perspective, we could say Damon has a kind of battle-trained brain, quick mental reflexes, combat improvisation, enemy body reading, anticipation of attacks. He's almost a war strategist with centuries of experience. Each fight, each loss, each death shaped this brain to be sharper, more direct, more lethal. But what makes all this even more dangerous is the fact that he doesn't always want to be the hero. Damon does what needs to be done, even if it makes him hated. And that, honestly, it's what makes him even more respectable. He bears the weight of choices that others can't carry. So don't be fooled by the cynical smile, the whiskey glass in hand, and the sarcastic jokes behind all that. Is a mind that has destroyed enemies long before the first punch was thrown. Damon Salvatore may be a supernatural destruction machine, but he bleeds. He suffers, and, worse still, he feels. Behind all that tough vampire shell, there's a set of vulnerabilities that have nearly killed him more times than can be counted. And no, it's not just stake to the heart and vervain. It goes way beyond that. The basic vampire rule applies to Damon with full force. A wooden stake straight to the heart, and it's over. It's his off button. He can be strong, healed, regenerated. It doesn't matter. If it hits the right spot, the light goes out in seconds. That's why he lives with his senses on high alert slip and he turns to dust. The infamous anti-vampire plant. When Damon comes into contact with vervain, whether by ingestion, touch, or even in the air, his body collapses. Cuts off mental compulsion, weakens the nervous system, and forcibly blocks his powers. It's like real-time poison. We've seen him trapped, tortured, almost killed because of this miserable herb, without which Emily's ring, Damon would become walking barbecue. The sun that tans humans carbonizes vampires. His body literally combusts if exposed to direct sunlight. This shows that, despite all his invulnerability, he still depends on magical artifacts to live in a normal world. Now comes the heaviest part. Damon's strongest weakness is emotional. When he loves hard. When he suffers, he sinks into a bottomless hole. Elena, Stefan, Catherine, Alaric, Bonnie, each of these connections left a different scar on his mind. And he tries to hide this with sarcasm, with anger, with violence. But deep down, he carries a pain that no healing factor erases. That's when he becomes most vulnerable, when he turns his humanity on. The guilt, the longing, the feeling of loss, all this brings down the emotional shield he built over time. We've seen Damon implode from within after losing someone, become suicidal, out of control, self-destructive. In these moments, you don't need a stake to kill Damon. Sometimes, just silence destroys him. Damon is addicted to blood, to adrenaline, to chaos. He has a pattern of self-sabotage that appears every time he tries to be someone better. When he approaches redemption, he throws everything away. He himself is one of his biggest threats. And this, honestly, it's what makes him real as hell. It's what makes him human and at the same time, dangerous like no one else. In the end, Damon isn't just an indestructible body. He's a soul in conflict. And when that conflict explodes, everyone around is at risk. Damon isn't just talk. He's punched death in the face numerous times and walked away laughing. The guy has faced powerful witches, rabid werewolves, relentless hunters, and other vampires that would make even Stefan tremble. And the craziest part, he always finds a way to come out alive, often by a narrow margin, but he makes it. Damon has gone toe-to-toe with ancestral vampires, legends in Mystic Falls. He's taken down werewolves with brute force and strategic intelligence. He's also faced hybrids, creatures mixing powers and weaknesses, and always gained the upper hand by being smarter and more relentless. Classic example. He survived a direct fight with Klaus Mikkelsonte Original, the badass who runs everything, and not only survived but walked away with his ego intact. That says a lot about his strength. Damon has been through situations that would make anyone give up. He was trapped in hell, suffered psychological torture, faced extreme deprivation, was subjected to heavy mind control, and yet never gave up. What keeps him standing isn't just blood, it's the will to keep fighting, no matter what. Despite his dark side, Damon has made incredible sacrifices for those he loves. Even being the villain of the story, he has a twisted code of honor that makes him risk his life to protect those close to him. This shows that, behind the cruel vampire, there's still a guy who feels, even if he tries to hide it. If there's one thing that defines Damon, it's his ability to learn from each blow. He's not stupid, on the contrary, he's too smart. Each defeat became a lesson, each loss became fuel for the next fight. He knows that in the supernatural world, those who don't adapt, die. If Damon's body is a perfect biological weapon, his mind is a constant battlefield. Seriously, this guy carries such an intense whirlwind of emotions that they're sometimes his greatest weakness and also his greatest strength. Damon is known for having a short fuse, man. When he gets pissed, he loses sense of danger, and this can be both an advantage and a problem. On one hand, anger makes him stronger, faster, almost impossible to stop. On the other, this impulsiveness has put him and his friends in serious trouble. Behind the arrogance and sarcasm, Damon feels deep pain, the guilt of having hurt those he loves, of having lost important people, and of not being able to be the guy he'd like to be. This emotional wound never heals, and sometimes explodes in moments of self-destruction. As much as he tries to deny it, Damon loves hard, and this is both beautiful and dangerous. This love makes him vulnerable, but also drives him to sacrifice himself and fight against everything and everyone to protect those he cares about. His loyalty is as fierce as his physical strength. Damon's biggest drama is this constant battle between the monster and the human still living inside him. He wants to be better, but is dominated by dark instincts. This conflict gives depth to the character and keeps us glued to every decision he makes. So dude, after this journey through the anatomy, powers, and mind of this guy named Damon Salvatore, it's clear he's not just any vampire living in the shadows. He's a complete predator, body, mind, and emotion aligned at a level few can understand. His body? An insane biological machine, made to survive, attack, and regenerate without mercy. His mind? A laboratory of strategies, manipulations, and sharp intelligence, always one step ahead of the enemy. And his emotion? A sea of conflicts, pains, and loves that make him not only feared, but also deeply human. Honestly, I think Damon is one of those characters who shows that brute force isn't everything. He's the perfect combination of power and vulnerability, and that's precisely what makes him so damn awesome. Now I want to know from you, Which Damon moment impacted you the most? Which facet of this vampire do you think is the most sinister? Leave it in the comments. Let's chat. And don't forget, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, share with friends, and subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. There's much more coming, and I guarantee it'll be as awesome as this. Thanks a lot. See you next time.